Hey everybody, welcome to Takeoff with John Clark, presented by Makefield Putters. It is playoff week in Philly, and who better to have on the great reporter from ESPN, Sal Paolantonio. You can catch him on ESPN Matchup Saturday morning on ESPN2 and then ESPN Plus and the app. You can catch it. How many years going for the ESPN Matchup show now, Sal?
Oh, I'm 24 years as the host, John.
Wow, that is incredible. And by the way, Happy New Year. Am I allowed to say it, or does Larry David say you can't say it anymore?
No, January 7th might be the cutoff, but we're good. Happy New Year to you, and congratulations on your recent engagement. So exciting.
Thank you, Sal. I appreciate you. And we're talking playoffs in Philly. There's nothing better, Sal. This matchup against the 49ers, it's intriguing to me because a lot of people were wondering, the Eagles should have rested their starters, maybe get the 2 seed and get that matchup with the Packers. But what do you think is the best possible matchup for the Eagles?
Niners, the last time they came in here, they didn't have enough quarterbacks in the playoffs. Hopefully, Kyle Shanahan brings enough quarterbacks this time. To me, I think when you look at what the Seattle Seahawks were able to do against the San Francisco 49ers in Week 18, what was the number one thing? They were able to collapse the pocket up the middle. The Niners, center and 2 guards, couldn't handle the defensive tackles of the Seahawks. And the last time I looked, the Eagles' defensive tackles are better than the Seahawks with Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis. So to me, that's the number one matchup that we will have on the show with Greg Cosell on Saturday morning. We are going to take a deep dive look into what was the Niners' problems protecting Brock Purdy. He was under duress the entire game, and how the Eagles can exploit that. I mean, to me, I look at this Eagles defense right now, John, and I use the numbers 3, 4, and 5. They have Pro Bowlers at all 3 levels. They have a defensive coordinator with 4 decades of experience, and they were 5th in the league in points allowed. 3, 4, 5. And to me, this defense, John, is better than the one that won the Super Bowl last year.
Wow, that's saying a lot, Sal. That's saying a lot. Wow.
Yeah.
So over the last 2 months, Eagles defense has given up the fewest points in the NFL. We've seen this happen last year where the defense under Vic Fangio just keeps getting better and better. What do you think of this matchup? Vic Fangio said Kyle Shanahan is his friend, family friend. So what do you think of the matchup matching Vic Fangio against arguably the best designer in the NFL, Kyle Shanahan?
Well, there are a number of reasons why Vic Fangio has had success against Kyle Shanahan. Familiarity is number one. He coached with him. He's a family friend. He knows Mike, Kyle Shanahan's father. He understands the system inside and out. Anybody can go and look the numbers up. I don't have to recite them, but Fangio has had success against Kyle Shanahan. And in particular, the reason is that Kyle Shanahan cannot really protect his quarterbacks. That's been his history. And Vic Fangio rushes 4, drops 7 into coverage, and that allows Vic Fangio to pour on the pass rush, but protect on the back end. And I think they match up very well. But, and there's always a but, they have to be worried about Brock Purdy, the runner. Brock Purdy, sneaky fast, very elusive, has good vision as a runner. The Eagles have been susceptible, in some cases, to quarterbacks who leak out of the pocket. I'm not talking about design runs. I'm talking about when the coverage is overwhelming and the protection is breaking down. Kyle Purdy does a really good job of leaking out and turning 5 yards into 15 yards. And the Eagles have had problems with this. I think this is the one thing that they have to watch in this game. Brock Purdy on the run.
And it's such a unique offense because basically their best receiver is Christian McCaffrey. I mean, he caught 102 balls, and when he gets in space, he can make anybody miss. And then you've got, of course, the tight end, George Kittle. So is this kind of a unique offense where it's not so much the guys on the outside, the receivers, it's Christian McCaffrey and George Kittle that you have to try to slow down?
Right, and their formation is very tight. Everything is tight at the line of scrimmage. That's the way Kyle Shanahan runs the offense. And then has guys leak out like McCaffrey or crush the middle like George Kittle. Crush the middle like George Kittle. I just made that up.
Use that on the matchup show, Sal.
I think we will, John. I think we will. I like that. We tape that at NFL Films on Friday morning, and I might use that.
Yeah.
Just like I said, the Eagles would be 12-5 and 25, but have a lot to fix in 26. And I think they do have some things to fix, based on what I have seen. Defensively, I'm telling you, better than they were last year. Pro bowlers at all three levels. I think the biggest difference is, the guy they picked up from Miami. That guy is unbelievable. He is an all-purpose player and can rush the passer, drop into coverage if you need him. Good tackler, fast on his feet, quick and elusive, and tough, strong, really strong.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, when you have that with Jalix Hunt really coming along, and then you have Jalen Carter, who it seems like, we were both there in Buffalo, it seems like the shots that he got in his shoulders really helped out. He's refreshed and ready to go. So, he got another week off. And I know the big debate in Philly was rest versus playing the starters. What do you think this is going to do for this team? We saw it last year with the offensive line at Saquon Barkley getting that week rest. What do you think it's going to do? Do you think it'll help rejuvenate the offense, the running attack?
Well, I've been covering the league for 33 years, 31 for ESPN, 2 for the Philadelphia Inquirer. And the one thing that I have noticed going into the last few years that's different is the 17-game schedule and how hard that is on NFL players. And I agree with Nick Sirianni's decision 100% to give those players an extra day to heal and rest. And the other thing too, John, is that you got to remember something about Nick Sirianni. There's a reason why he's been in the playoffs all these years. There's a reason why he has the third best winning percentage in the Super Bowl era behind a guy, named Vince Lombardi and John Madden, both in the Hall of Fame. There's a reason why the Philadelphia Eagles under Nick Sirianni have the best road record in the NFL. Because Sirianni listens to his players. He's all about collaboration and coordination. He has a very strong players' council. There is no doubt in my mind whatsoever that Sirianni made this decision in consultation with his players' council. And the players would rather not be in another car wreck, which is what an NFL game is, and heal and rest and be on the sideline in a game that was essentially meaningless. And you know what? This team is not afraid to go on the road. I just mentioned they have the best road record. So Nick Sirianni made this decision, I'm sure of it, in coordination and consultation with his players' council, and it's the right call for this team. He's got a good mix of veteran and old players, younger players, and players who have been hurt and need to heal. Lane Johnson, Jalen Carter. Certainly Saquon could use a day off, for sure, 100%. And the last thing you want to do is put Jalen Hurts out there on the field. The Commanders have been headhunting Jalen Hurts ever since Frankie Louvu had that illegal hit in Washington on Jalen Hurts. I'm still waiting for the flag and the fine on Frankie Louvu. By the way, no disrespect to Frankie Louvu. I want him on my football team, ferocious player. But that was an illegal hit that got Jalen Hurts concussed. They've been coming after him for 2 years. So I agree 100%. It was the right thing to do to have those veteran players off the field, especially on offense.
Hey, I'm John Clark, and we are here in Bensalem, PA at Makefield Putters. And I got to tell you, we want to thank them for being our new sponsors of the Takeoff podcast. And I've got putting issues when I get out there. I'm 6'5", and I had to get a custom putter. When I got this custom putter here, it changed my putting game. When it's wintertime and we go get jackets, different size people need different size jackets. Well, we got to get a custom putter for our size, our type of swing and everything. They break it all down for you. They build up the putter from scratch. They have all the data, the analytics, the statistics to get you to be a good putter. And when I came here to make field putters and I started to use my custom putter, I got to tell you, I make it with Makefield. So next time you're on the course with Makefield putters, go birdies. Yeah, and Sal, if you look at the history of the NFL, especially recently, and the Eagles' history, each time the Eagles have gone to the Super Bowl in their franchise history, they have had a week off, whether it's getting a top seed or the coach resting the players for a week. And that's kind of the history of this league. You see recently, most of the teams that make it to the Super Bowl, they get a bye. So this matchup against the Niners defense, Sal, they are now signing former Eagles linebacker Kaiser White. They've got Eric Kendricks, who was not on the team 2 months ago. He could possibly start at linebacker. They're down to their fourth linebacker. Obviously, they have a lot of injuries on defense, missing a couple of future Hall of Famers, Nick Bosa and Fred Warner. Is this the matchup that the Eagles offense needs in the playoffs to really kind of get going?
Maybe, John. I'm not sure about that. I understand what you're saying about the injuries and them signing backup players to go into their defense. Their defense did a pretty good job against Sam Darnold and the Seattle Seahawks. This is not about the Niners defense. This is about the Eagles offense. The Eagles offense must be better on first down. They must have more production on first down. They have the most 3-and-outs in the National Football League and the most expensive offense in the National Football League. That's totally untenable going into the postseason. They don't really have a good 3rd and long package. 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9, 3rd and 10, 3rd and 12. They can't get out of their own way when they have 3rd and long. They need to be better on first down. I'm hoping, I don't know for sure, because we're not privy to practice and they're not going to give away their game plan to us. I'm hoping that Kevin Patullo, Jeff Stoutland, Nick Sirianni, their passing game coordinator, Jalen Hurts, they got all together and figured out what are they going to do to be more productive on first down, because it really doesn't matter. These are NFL players, and the Eagles, in my view, having watched them for the matchup show, went up to Buffalo, seen them a lot this year. Their 3rd and long package is, I don't know, bad. Bad is the only word for it. They need to be better on first down on offense.
Sal, a lot of people are saying it's going to take the defense carrying this team if they want to go back to the Super Bowl. And what I keep coming back to, Sal, with this offense, we've seen tons of games this year where they're good for a half, bad for a half, inconsistent, but against really good competition, playoff teams. We saw what they did against the Raiders in Washington. That's fine offensively. But when you look at their last, let's say, 4 or 5 games against playoff teams, it hasn't been good offensively. The Buffalo game, the Chargers game, the Bears game, the Packers game. The offense against playoff teams is averaging around 16.5 points a game. Is there any reason why we can expect and hope that the offense would be able to find that next gear?
Yes, there is. I think that they have proven that. They're a resilient bunch, and they have no choice because they need to do better. There's careers on the line. I mean, if Kevin Patullo thinks of himself as a head coach in the future, he's got to try to figure this out. So you have to take each one of those games individually. So the Dallas game was a total disaster, and the Bears game was a total disaster. I think when you look at the game against the Chargers on Monday night, they had that game won, John, even with all of the turnovers. It was there for the taking. Jalen Hurts did not see Dallas Goedert. He tries to throw it into double, triple coverage to Dotson down near the goal line. It gets picked. Jalen Hurts had a bad game on Monday Night Football against the Chargers. That's for sure. I think when you look at the Bills game, the Bills did the same thing to the Eagles that they did to the Patriots when they were down to the Patriots 21-0 up in Foxborough. They just went after Jalen Hurts, and the pocket collapsed. The defensive line in front seven of Buffalo just kept winning at the line of scrimmage, and the offensive line didn't hold up their end of the bargain. So there are many different reasons. Failure here has got a lot of fathers, and they have to figure out, okay, what are we going to do? Not identity. Identity is sort of one of those overused cliches in the NFL. Well, we got to find our identity. No, you got to blow people off the ball with your offensive line and run the football and get 3 or 4 or 5 yards on first down. or throw the football on first down. They were very, very good with a spread, no huddle offense against the Commanders and Las Vegas. Now, albeit those are two teams out of the playoffs. I get it. That's an important point. Don't jump down my throat on that, John. I get it, John. But, do that. Spread guys out. And what you have to do then is allow Jalen Hurts to get the ball out of his hands quickly. So that's number one. Number two, I want to see Jalen Hurts with some design runs. I want to see Jalen Hurts moving outside the pocket. He's a very good quarterback outside the pocket. He's a very good ball distributor. He's also really good at throwing when he's on the run. I want to see him outside the pocket, design runs, and bootleg action, get him away from the rush. Because what I have seen so far is that the rush has been giving up too much pressure in Jalen Hurts' face right up the middle.
Well, and that's why I think this matchup plays well for the Eagles offense, because the Niners have the fewest sacks in the NFL, only 20, and they've got the third worst pass rush win rate in the NFL. Bryce Huff making his return to the link. I think this matchup plays well into the Eagles' hands. I know they played well against Seattle, but before that, the Niners' defense was giving up like 30 points a game over their, and the offense was outscoring teams when they won 6 in a row. But the defense, they've got a lot of issues. And I think the Eagles' offensive line is going to do very well against that front. And then you've got linebackers who are not exactly starters for the Niners, and they're not exactly big players. They're on the smaller side. So I think the Eagles will be able to get that running game going. But if the Eagles win, Sal, against the Niners, would you rather go on the road to face the Bears in Chicago or host the Rams in Philly? Because there's a chance that the Packers upset the Bears in Chicago. What would be your favorable matchup for the second round?
Well, John, right before we went on the air together, I went and got my New York Post, which I like to do every morning with a cup of coffee. Because
I look at it online.
You see that gray hair? Yeah. I go out to the Wawa and I get my New York Post, John.
You pick it up in person.
Yeah, absolutely. And I look at the odds and I look at, Wednesday morning is the morning for the New York Post. Don't bother me. I'm with the Post and a Wawa coffee. And I just put a big fat red check mark that the Packers would beat the Bears.
Wow. They're favored.
The Packers will beat the Bears.
Wow.
And when you look at that matchup, that Jordan Love is playing very well. And the last time they beat them was in week 14. Love had 3 touchdown passes. Why? The Bears could not handle the speed of the Packers wide receivers. And you're going to say to me, well, Sal, that's because Micah Parsons was playing in that game. Micah Parsons had 1 tackle in that game. That was his last full game, was week 14 in Green Bay against Chicago. He got hurt the next week in week 15. He had 1 tackle. He was a non-factor in that game. The biggest factor in that game was Jordan Love throwing it deep to his speedy wide receivers. The Bears have one of the worst secondaries and recently have given up a lot of points. You saw that against the Niners. And they couldn't handle Detroit and Jared Goff at the end of the season either. So I love this matchup of the Packers offense against the Bears defense.
Wow. So Packers go on the road, take out the number 2 seed Bears. That would mean if the Eagles win, they get another home playoff game. And that would probably be the Rams. So, do you think that the Eagles have a path here to get back to the NFC title game, having 2 home playoff games?
I think they have a path to get back to the NFC title game and get back to the NFC title game at home.
Whoa. You don't have Seattle hosting the NFC title game?
I'm not really that enamored with Seattle. Seattle, they played okay in that game against the Niners, but the Niners, if McCaffrey doesn't fumble that pass, muff that pass at the end, the Niners had a chance to come back and win that game. They only scored, what did you just say about that Niners defense?
13-3.
That Niners defense is eviscerated with injuries. And how many points did Seattle score in that game? 13, right?
Yeah, but Seattle did run it on them for, 180 yards.
Yeah, okay, but how many points did they score, John?
You're
13.
Right. You're right, 3.
Okay, so there is a path.
13.
I'm not predicting it. There is a path for the NFC Championship game to be in Philadelphia. But I do Hey, John, let's take it 1 week at a time, okay? This week, I think you're right. The Eagles match up well against the Niners if they do two things. Don't let Brock Purdy leak out and beat them on third down with long runs, which he can do. Don't knock Brock, I like to say. Don't knock Brock. Brock is a good athlete. He's super accurate. He's one of the most accurate quarterbacks in the National Football League. Don't sleep on Brock Purdy because he can play.
I will say, Sal, I agree with you. I hate to interrupt. I agree, but I think you mentioned Jalen Phillips. Jalen Phillips is a guy who's very athletic who can also track down the quarterback. And Zach Baun, that's why you've got an incredible Pro Bowl linebacker that can, run sideline to sideline. And he's got the speed and athleticism. So I think they'll do a good job against Brock.
Well, and you're right. It's not, you exactly just pointed it out, John. It's not a spy. It's a spy operation.
Yeah.
What's the spy operation that Vic Fangio is going to have for Brock Purdy? So that's number one. And number two, the Eagles offense must be better on first down. Then they'll take care of the Niners. I believe the Packers will take care of the Bears. And I think the Packers will go on the road to Seattle. And the Rams will come in and play the Eagles in a divisional round.
Wow. So in the end, you're predicting it didn't even matter that the Eagles didn't get the 2 seed. I like this. And they get the rest.
I'm predicting that it didn't matter, but I'm also saying it was the right decision by Nick Sirianni.
Yeah.
It was these players hate the 17-game schedule. That's why they don't want an 18-game schedule. What it does to their bodies is it's unfair.
Yeah. And
it really is.
Sal, I agree with you.
They get paid all this money. We understand it, but you try doing that for 17 games and surviving. It's hard. It's much better for them to heal and rest their bodies if they have the chance to do that. Sirianni was 100% right, 100%.
And I agree with you because I saw the Eagles, those 2 games where they came off of short rest, the Thursday night at the Giants and the Friday hosting the Bears, and they were so bad. They were bad. So this team has played better with extra rest. Going to Minnesota when they had the mini bye, and I know the offense didn't score a lot of points at Green Bay, but they played better coming off the bye. So I agree with you, Sal. I think rest is best, and we will see. We will see. And we're going to check out your matchup show Saturday morning, ESPN2, Sal Pal and Greg Cosell breaking down the film. We'll also catch it on ESPN Plus, right? And I'm sure there's a bunch of other ESPNs we can also watch it on.
Yeah, John, listen, I could talk football with you all day. We done? That's it? We're over? We're gone?
Hey, we want to leave them wanting more. Showmanship, right? Good night, everybody. Like George Costanza. Thanks, Sal. Appreciate your time, buddy.